Ooh, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Prince John Internet TV, the place where we make discoveries and use logic in order to make our own lives better, increase our emotional stability, and ultimately make this world what we know that it should be. Alright. So if you're watching this show, it means that you may be in a relationship now. You may have to be responsible for the caretaking and guardianship of children, and you may work a lot, and therefore you don't have the opportunity to really think about and process what go, what, what goes on in your surroundings, so that you have room to actually learn some more yourself, and therefore evolve and adapt to situations. That is my job. My job is to help you out in this regard and make your life easy. Starting off with what we do in our workplace, I don't think recognition or money is so important. My work is important, and I know what I am doing. And if I don't, I make inquiries, and I basically try to have my own work ethic that's not contingent upon what anyone else thinks, but that can mean working, that can mean taking a break, really listening to myself and my emotions constantly. The emotions are always happening in the now, and if I'm paying attention, for example, if I get upset at work, I think there should be some type of a smartphone app that can be used, and you can instantly push that app when you're upset, so your emotions don't control you, and maybe it gives you some ideas, or minimally you sit down in a safe private place, have a snack. Maybe your employer should encourage this behavior to stop all work when you're upset, because you know work is about momentum, and if there's positive feelings going on, there's momentum, which results in a good work product. And otherwise, there can be destruction. Maybe coworkers will have disagreements. So the goal is to have the upset worker sit down, try to deal with their emotions, and then express to their boss that they're upset at something, rather than say, "Oh, so and so is so rude, and they're not do." Maybe I'm upset because another person is being incompetent or not industrious, but rather I say I'm feeling bad about what somebody else is doing. That way, you're not insulting them, but rather you're expressing your feelings. Okay, so I think it's the supervisor's job to ask and inquire and try to notice emotional patterns in their workers. Next subject, I think that it would be strategic for law enforcement and the military to subdue people more than just trying to potentially uh, harm or kill, because if we can subdue with some type of knockout gas or pepper spray or various methodologies, then we can imprison and rehabilitate, as opposed to simply trying to kill somebody because you yourself are angry and vengeful. Next, I think it should be illegal to hire people if they haven't at least graduated high school, because the work environment should be full of individuals who can communicate well and are interested in their safety and health. Remember, you might surrounding you might be people who are potentially careless, and that will result in you having an accident with them, even if you're very cautious. So there can be adult high schools for adults. Another thing, because it's relatively inconvenient to get one's ID and and one's social security card and other documents. They can require time and an address and money. I think there should be a quick, easy way to simply have your fingerprints be used as a way to test your identification and then promptly provide you with an ID at a government office. So the strategy is to avoid providing any negative feedback to non-family members because family will understand. Family will say, okay, well, I respect you. We eat the same things. We have the same meditations and so on, and we can, uh, therefore we can talk to each other and resort to maybe doing a light work session or something together, meditative uh, session, instead of trying to, uh, you know, say something rude to someone, and who will react in a way that it seems like you're attacking them verbally. Use the previous strategy of deferring these thoughts to supervisors. And remember, people may be upset if you go to a supervisor or, say, law enforcement to report a problem. In that case, I think you have to keep distance from people. It can be tricky, but that's why I think we should increase the amount of law enforcement, and I think we should have armed military, uh, you know, soldiers in public. Okay. One mistake I've made as a spiritual person is to think others are lower than me or foolish and do things like, but this is a judgment and it doesn't feel good for me. Instead, I either focus on their nice qualities and allow them to be a mirror for me to look at and improve myself. Okay, and ultimately it's a question of people's current emotional states. Like, for instance, two people may disagree on a lot of things, but as long as they're in the good mood, then they're going to be prone to working with each other and sharing knowledge. However, if they're upset, if either party's upset, I don't think they should be around each other. That's why it's important to avoid angry people and let them deal with their feelings. Don't try to say, oh, I want to make them feel better. You know, maybe do it from a distance. Don't get tapped into their negative energy. That can quickly result in physical violence. And what else? I think it's paradoxical that work actually feels good. And I've always had this existential concern before starting a project that, oh, I won't have a good time. But I think that building and creating is something that it becomes mine, and that is a creative feeling that can't be replaced. In addition, I think that as far as, shall we call it, the dimensions of a man in conjunction with how they would fit with a woman, I'm talking in the bedroom. It varies. Different people like different things. The only main thing is that we find compatible mates that we can we can be with, who in fact uh, like us for exactly who we are. Okay, let's see if I have any other thoughts for now. Actually, I'm going to finish it up right now, and I will, you know, remember that intimacy with the self, you may not even feel like doing it, but once you do, it starts to create it changes your energy pattern up. And and that way, after you're done with that, you can maybe do some yoga or exercise or write down some thoughts. Um, Last but not least, I believe that pretending, like trying to accommodate other people's feelings, which will always make me feel bad. Um, what happens is if I pretend, I eventually become self-destructive. So you may think that pretending is okay and that it's socially appropriate. However, it will make you hurt yourself. So you have to take a stand and protect your own feelings. See you next time. Aloha.